Oh, what's going on? I'm waiting for some people. I know it's Sunday morning. Uh, what's going on, family? Peace, peace, peace. Peace and happy Sunday morning. I had to do this live because I owe my Facebook family and my YouTube family a live and explanation on what happened in the Ahmad Arbery trial. I'm not going live on Instagram because I already gave them a bunch of information, and I kind of want to focus on you guys today. What's up, you report? True Fist of the North Star, Romeo, No Juliet TV, Shock Rock King Black, Peace Family. All right, so I know most of you are following, or you got your ear to the ground. You hear a little bit of what's going on in the Ahmad Arbery trial. If you're not all out following it, I'm not all out following it. I can't. I don't have the time, but I am following it. As it goes along, I catch up on the court TV stuff, and then I listen to what the media says about what has really transpired. And I have some understandings, obviously, because I'm an attorney, right? And then I listen to what they're selling you, and I'm like, that's factually inaccurate. It's factually and it's legally inaccurate. And not only is that the case, but it's designed to elicit an emotional response from you. I don't like that shit. Lady T, good morning. I don't like that. Hey, Ron. Yeah, I'm live on a Sunday. I know. I'm behind, so I got to catch up. There's so many things I want to talk about, but I want to get this straight first because I'm always concerned about the emotional state of my people. I'm always concerned about what the media is trying to get you to do, feel, and have some response to. And I don't like it. Right. So what happened was the defense in the Ahmad Arbery trial, right? So you've got three white men on trial, the McMasters and the Roddy guy, right? And the defense basically used what they had was preemptory challenges, and I'll explain all of that. They used I guess they had about 24 of them together, which they had to share, meaning they had to agree on which jurors to kick off. And they used almost half of them. They used 11 out of the 24 to get rid of um, black jurors, leaving only one black juror to be seated. Okay. Now, first thing we got to understand is what is a preemptory challenge, right? So in the law, when a juror shows up, there's a couple of ways in which a lawyer can say, not you, Playboy, right? So I got to do it my way. I got to tell y'all about the law shit my way. I can't tell it to y'all the way most lawyers want to tell you, all antiseptic and shit. It's just not my style, right? So the jury shows up. It's a couple ways that you, as an attorney, can get this juror off your jury. First, you can tell the judge, you know what? When he was explaining this, that, and the third thing, he said he couldn't be fair. He said that the defendant looked like someone who had murdered his mother, right? And so much so that he wouldn't be able to focus on the trial. He can't be fair. He said it unequivocally, right? He can't be rehabilitated, meaning that you can't come behind me after he said, I can't be fair, and go, well, if we put a scrim up and you can't see the defendant's face, would you be able to be fair then? Right? That's not even no. You can't rehabilitate this juror. At that point, you go to the judge, you say, Judge, I would like to have this juror excused for cause. I'm saying FORCAUSE, for cause, because he has expressed or she has expressed the inability to be fair and impartial. Yeah, it's fine. Jurors do it all the fucking time, especially the ones that want to get off. What's up, Doug? Especially the ones that want to get off jury duty, right? They show up and it's a lot of times it's black folk. He looks like my brother. I can't be fair. Gotta kick you off for a cause. You said you can't be fair. Do you think that police officers their testimony should be treated the same as other people? And I grew up believing that police officers had a responsibility to tell the truth. I kind of would give a police officer's testimony more credit than I would a regular person. Yeah, you don't think you could change that? Nah, kind of. Since I was a kid, I kind of felt like that. I don't think that that's going to change for me. Okay, I like to have this juror excused for a cause because he can't set aside or she can't set aside what it is that you've been taught all your life and apply what the court is telling you to apply. Right? You might have been taught all your life that you should go on green, right? All your life. You should go on green. But when you get into this courtroom, the judge is going to give you an instruction. You might disagree with those instructions, but you got to follow them. That's what the role of a juror is. That's the understanding that a juror is supposed to swear to. That even if you don't agree with the shit this judge is about to say, you are going to go along with it. That's part of the problem with our jury system, because you get people to agree shit before they know what they're agreeing to. Right? That's an aside. All right. So you get the judge is going to then excuse this juror for cause. All right. That's for cause. We'll come back and talk about this. This is a very involved process. I cannot tell you that jury selection is, I can tell you, is the most important part of a trial. It's the single most important part of a trial, jury selection. And so in doing jury selection, I'm one of those lawyers. I will have a sheet, right? And so typically a judge will put jurors in the jury box for voir dire, however you want to pronounce it. A bunch of people pronounce it differently, but that's the questioning of the jurors, right? So you might put 18 in a box. I'll have a sheet that'll have 18 boxes on it. And in that sheet, I'm writing everything that I can remember about this juror. I'm going to write if they're black, if they're white, if they're male, if they're female, if they're from this part of the county, right? Because jurors come from the county, what part of the county they're from, what they do for a living, if they're married or if they're single, if they have children, if their children are grown, what their children do, if they have any hobbies, what do they do for a living? You have to know all of this shit. Right? You can't, and listen, I've seen lawyers who don't write nothing down. They get up and they're like, so you said you lived over in St. Albans. I'm like, how the fuck you do that? I don't aspire you to be that guy. You can do that. Go ahead. That's fine. I'm writing things down. Not only do I do that, because if there's an issue later with the appellate court, guess what? This is going to be an exhibit, right? My jury sheet with the boxes and the notation that I'm doing contemporaneously with what I'm hearing, right? That is going to be important paperwork. I can't tell the appellate court, well, I had it all in my head. That's bullshit, right? So you write very specific notes. Pay attention to whether or not the prosecutor is asking questions of only the black jurors, right? Because sometimes they try to elicit comments from the black jurors that they can make an argument, means that they can't be fair, right? Or it gives them a basis for a peremptory challenge if they get Batson. We're going to talk about Batson in a second. I'm getting there. I first want y'all to understand how we get people off the jury. So for cause, preemptory challenge. I know I'll be sidetracked sounding like a motherfucker. Preemptory challenges are those challenges where you don't need to give a reason. You don't have to have a cause. Okay, it's like at will employee. You can be fired for any reason or no reason at all. Same thing with preemptory challenges. I can excuse you for a reason or no reason at all, as long as it's not based on your race. Same thing for at will employment. I can fire you because you've been late 1,000 times. I can't fire you because you're black. Right? All right. So stay with me on that employment analogy, because that's going to come back around. All right. All right. So now we're at the preemptory challenges. You get a specific number of preemptory challenges, right? The defendant doesn't have unlimited challenges. Otherwise, jury selection would never end. Right. So these three defendants had 24 challenges to share amongst themselves, 24 preemptory challenges. You have unlimited for-cause challenges, right? Because you should never run out of those. If a juror shows up and says, I can't be fair, you should always have the remedy to have that juror removed. So you have unlimited for-cause challenges, right? And you usually get those out of the way until you know that you have jurors that are there, and we've already exhausted all the for-cause on those jurors that remain. If you want them off, you're going to have to use a preemptory challenge, right? So the rule is you can excuse a juror for any reason so long as it's not based on race. All right, got me so far. So what the defense attorneys did in the McMaster's trial, right? The Ahmad Arbery trial. It's not trial. I don't want to say he's not on trial, but the people who killed him are on trial. And I hate that we always do that. The Ahmad Arbery trial, it makes it sound like he's on trial. The three white men that are on trial, they decided we are going to outmaneuver the prosecutor. Prosecutors typically are always kicking black jurors off, so they don't really know how to respond when the shit happens from the other side of the room, right? And so what happens is Batson is a process, and what the media did was try to hype you up into thinking something happened that was wrong or untoward or unjust, and that the trial was still going on. That's the problem I'm having. So after the defense attorney exercised all of their challenges, they got all of those 11 black jurors off, and only sat one black juror, right? The prosecution then stood up and said, this is bullshit. Right, didn't say that. This I'm putting in Ikie terms, right? Prosecution said, Judge, this is some bullshit. They're kicking all the black people off. That's not right. That is in violation of Batson versus Kentucky, right? This is a Supreme Court case 30 years ago. Supreme Court said, y'all can't be doing this shit. Y'all got to stop kicking black people off just because they black. That's not fair, especially when the defendant is black. Just because you think that black people are going to be more favorable to black people, which ain't always the case because your skin folk ain't always your kinfolk. Okay. So now we've got this basis, we've got this law, right? So the prosecution says they are in violation of the law. The law says you can't kick black people off just because they're black. Now, what's required is a process. This is a process. This is like 3-step process, right? For a Batson challenge to go forward. The prosecution first starts the process, says, hey, something racially inappropriate is happening here, right? The judge then has to say, wait, what happened? What you saying? You saying that they're being racist? Hold on, let me look. 11. Oh, I think you might be right, right? So the judge said, yeah, I think you might be right. This does look like some intentional discrimination is happening, and that's where they stopped. That's where the media stopped. The media said, oh, the judge has found intentional discrimination. He's just gonna let the trial go on. That is not what fucking happened. That's not what happened. And that's why I'm angry, because that was only part. The judge did what the fuck he was supposed to do. That's his job. If he had sat there and said, I don't see it, that would have been a problem. But he said, you're right, I see it. The next step, remember, it steps to the shit. The next step is for the judge to turn to the defense and say, I see what y'all doing. There's some fuck shit. Y'all know it's against the law. Now, you have to give me a race neutral reason to why you kicked these black jurors off. Now, remember, the prosecution only asked Batson on 8 of the 11, right? So maybe the other 3 or so was a legitimate, they were legitimately excused. Only 8. The prosecution said, these 8, there's a pattern on these 8 jurors. So the judge then says, okay, you need to give me a race neutral explanation of why you got rid of these 8 jurors, meaning that you got to say something that doesn't have to do with their race, right? Something that doesn't have to do with their race. Race neutral. I got rid of this juror because he is I think the example I used on Instagram, he's a psychologist. Psychologists tend to overanalyze shit. I don't want a psychologist on my jury. They don't tend to just accept the evidence as I give it. Race neutral. Now, the problem with that is if you haven't been paying attention, right, you haven't been keeping notes, then you won't realize that they let a white psychologist on, right? So once the judge turns to the defense, and the defense then took 2 hours to offer up race neutral explanation, the judge then can't do shit. If it's race neutral, the judge can't say, I don't believe you. No, Batson doesn't require for it to be convincing, right? Your race neutral explanation. It doesn't. It just has to be race neutral, right? So in our example for the employment, right? If I want to fire you, and I legit want to fire you because you're black, and you bring this action and you say I fired you for you're black, and I can show your time card that you've been late for 3 weeks every day, right? So I'm showing that there is some race neutral reason for why I fired you. Even if I did fire you because you was black, I've got some other reason that I can offer that's going to cover that, right? Going to cover that. And so the same thing is true, except if it's bullshit. Now, once they offer up this explanation, it's up for the prosecutor who started this whole shit. It's up to the prosecutor to say, I heard your explanations about the 8 jurors, those race neutral explanations, and I'm calling bullshit, right? We call bullshit. It's called pretext, right? That your reasoning that you have given is pretextual, right? Meaning that it's bullshit, that it doesn't apply, it doesn't hold water. What do you mean? I can show you examples of people that you said would not make a good juror of, and that's why you excused them, but we've got white jurors on who are similarly situated. That means that your reasoning is bullshit because it didn't apply to the white jurors as it applied to the black jurors. That's a pretextual. Here's what the media didn't cover. I did not see one article that the prosecution responded to the defense's arguments on race neutral explanation by saying, Judge, That's bullshit. That's a pretextual explanation. That's bullshit. That didn't happen. So don't be upset at the judge. Be upset at the prosecutors who got outmaneuvered. They got outmaneuvered by the defense. And guess what? I'm not mad because I'm a defense lawyer, right? And at the end of the day, I want my client to have a jury of his fucking peers, right? And that would be the Bubbas, right? And the Joe, whatever, Joe get a buy, have a beer, whatever, right? Those type of people, the white males that are uneducated, and when I say not college educated, that live in rural areas, things of that nature, they want jurors who can relate to their clients. Aren't they entitled to that? When I go into court and my client is black, I want jurors who can relate to his experience, right? So that's not uncommon. The prosecution should have known that is what the tactic they were going to take, right? And the way you get around that is that you make sure that you're paying attention to the questioning, because I can guarantee you that those defense attorneys ask questions of the black jurors that they didn't ask of the white jurors. That is the first thing that some fuck shit is about to happen. You asking all of the black jurors shit. You're not asking nothing of the white jurors. So when you see that, you have to step in as the attorney and make sure that you balance that questioning, right? And I'm one of those where I'm putting you on Front Street. I see that ADA is only asking the black jurors this particular question. So let me open it up to all of the jurors. That's me. I'm put you on fucking Front Street. Okay. If that's my observation, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Okay? I'm doing it because I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention from the very moment the jurors walk in. I'm paying attention. Okay? And if you start asking black jurors questions that you don't ask of the white jurors, you are trying to get them to say shit so that you will have a basis to kick them the fuck off. Right? So I'm going to make sure I get the same information from white jurors so you no longer have that basis. Right? I'm going to get the white jurors to say the same fuck shit you got the black jurors to say. Okay, that way you no longer have a basis. This is so much of what happens in court has nothing to do with the law, right? All these intangibles. I had a Batson challenge. I've had so many trials. I've had so many Batson challenges. The one that I told on Instagram was one I had in Queens. The last trial I had where the prosecutor was kicking all the black people off. And I stood up, judge. There is a pattern of racial discrimination and how he's using his peremptory challenges. And the judge was like, I kind of see that too, counselor. And I need you to give me a race neutral explanation. This motherfucker was like, oh, I didn't know. I thought she was Caribbean. I didn't even know she was black. Get the fuck out of here. That's not a reason. That's not a race neutral reason. Your ignorance never motherfucking defense, right? That was funny. Coming into court the next day was hilarious because the court staff was there, and I was like, "What's up, black people?" Caribbean. They died. I was like, I don't know what y'all teaching these fucking ADAs in these training sessions, and I almost feel bad that I didn't take a job as a training director for one of these offices. But y'all need to get this shit together because it's really bad. It's really bad. All right. And so what we saw was just some outmaneuvering from the defense. It was legal what they did because they knew how to do it. Okay? They knew how to do it. And the prosecution, I don't know if they challenged it. Again, I don't know if they came back in. All right, I'm gonna look at some of these comments, y'all, and see if y'all got questions. Dennis Down, I love you too. You tried to reach me. How you trying to reach me? Ikie speaks at Gmail. Is my email. Hey Josh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Peace to the God. Norman Black Shear. Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. Random thought piece. Have you read any of the scammers current case? I have not read anything new on that dude who is not so polite. I have not read any. What do you think of his chances of sliding out of this one? I don't know, because again, I haven't read anything. I don't know, other than what I've already shared with you guys about, just reading the complaint and the initiatory documents and stuff of that nature. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know. It really depends on how cooperative the victims are going to be, right? Not just how cooperative, but how convincing they are, and whether or not they they continue in the prosecution, or if they allow the pressure or whatever maybe they may be dealing with to cause them to drop out. Yes, knowledge is power, Connie. That's why I do these things. I did like the prosecutor's open. Yep, I found her unprepared and undisciplined. The judge in front of the jury admonished her for going over her time. Yeah, I liked her too. In some regards, mostly because as a white woman, she didn't annoy me immediately. Her voice didn't annoy me, which I find that to be the case with a lot of whiny women in the law. I hate it. I'm like, I can't listen to you. But I didn't see the whole thing, and I did not see her get reprimanded in front of the jury, which is not a good thing. Which shouldn't happen. Even if she went over her time, the judge should not have done that in front of the jury. I think that in some part, that can inure to the benefit of the prosecution. Jurors don't they like to root for the underdog. And if they see the judge that is mistreating either party, they tend to side with that party a little more, which is why I don't mind when judges mistreat me. I tend to look a little sheepish, like, because I want the jury to side with me. I'm getting my ass kicked in here. They beat me up. They beat me up. Type it in. Let me see if I can type it in. I think it's in there. IkieSpeaks@gmail.com. Let me see if I can. All right, there it is. That's the email. IkieSpeaks@gmail.com. All right. So that's really what I wanted to talk about. I know it's a lot of stuff going on. There's the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Y'all should be prepared for him to take a walk. The defense is running circles around the prosecution in that trial. I've been, checking it out here and there. And I think that the defense is masterful. They are using the prosecution's evidence against him. It seems like they're more prepared, which is not uncommon. That they know the case a little better, that they can handle the evidence a little better. So that stuff is really interesting. Watching that. What do you use some analysts? The Rittenhouse trial. Yeah, Connie. So I'm just talking about that. I think he's gonna walk. Like everything, even the prosecution's witnesses seem to be testifying in behalf of the defense. I'm like, why you put this guy on the stand? You had to. He's the only witness. But the way he described the events is that he sees the person who was killed, that person who was released from a mental hospital, who has a whole history of psychiatric issues and couldn't stay at his girlfriend's house because he's a whole ass nut job, is lunging at him at the time he shot. So it does sound like he might have a viable self-defense claim here. The way that it's being sold. So I don't know. The onus is always on the prosecution. The prosecution has the burden of proof. Except for when they are affirmative defenses. When affirmative defenses, then you have to prove that you were in particular danger, and that you had to respond with life-threatening reaction or force. Right. So. Yeah, I'm saying I not having watched everything, but having seen some parts, snippets here and there, some of the evidence, some of the direct examination and cross of their primary witness, who was supposed to be the one who came in and told them, about how this shouldn't occurred. At one point, it seemed like he was hostile to the prosecution, and I'm like, either they didn't prepare him properly, right, or he didn't want to testify for them. And I don't know if he was subpoenaed or anything like that, but he definitely did not help their case, right? He didn't help their case. And in Rittenhouse, doesn't he look like a little 17-year-old nerdy, never she little kid? You kind of want to be like, he wouldn't hurt anybody. They definitely, fixed him up to look like an innocent young person who wouldn't hurt a fly, who was in the area because he was trying to help the community. He had ties to the community. Like the media, kept saying he just came over here from nowhere. He actually did have ties to Kenosha, right? He worked in Kenosha. He had so some of the stuff that, again, with the media, right? That the emotional response that they're trying to elicit, so you could pick up the paper and click on some shit. Click, click, click. That's emotional clickbaiting. So they only give you a part of the truth. And that's fucked up, because what happens is you fail to manage your expectations because you're working with part of the truth. And what happens then is that you have an unrealistic expectation of how some shit is going to turn out. And when it doesn't turn out that way, you are incredibly disappointed. Right. And so I do these videos, one, for information, two, so that you can manage your expectations. Is important. It's important. All right. So I promised my kids I was going to take them over to Burlington Coat Factory today because it's getting cold. And even though they are grown and don't need my money, I still gotta make sure my babies are okay. So plus I like to hang out with them. They keep me young. They keep me they keep me sane. They keep me grounded. Add to the fact he was running away. Yes, he was running away. Yes, too hood for you. I'm a little too hood for a lot of people too. Uh, but yeah, the videos don't seem to support the prosecutor's narrative in the Rittenhouse case. It's like, did you watch this shit, bitch? Like, oh, sir, did you watch this video? Because it's not kind of not what you. And then sometimes people think that if they can narrate something for you, then they can control the narrative of what you see, and what they say will override what you see. That's some psycho Jedi mind trick shit. It happens though. It happens. Matter of fact, there was a video with I think Jen Presky, whatever the hell her name is, which is the White House press secretary, and there was a video where they had a captions on the video, and in the caption was supposed to tell you what she was saying, right? But I'm visually and hearing impaired, so not only am I looking at the video, I'm looking at her mouth, because oftentimes I have to read lips, right? She didn't say what they said she said, right? So they was trying to say that she said the Biden administration is going to protect marked people. No, she said more people. But because you were reading marked, when you heard more, what you were reading overrode what you heard. Y'all with me on that? This shit is powerful, because this has happened a lot in the internet with the internet. It happens a lot. And I'm one of those people, like, I'm always trying to match the audio with what someone is saying, because you can dub in shit. Right? You know, all of these videos, you never know if it's manufactured, Photoshop, dub, da 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 da, whatever it is. Right? So before you take it and run with it, make sure that you have analyzed it enough, that you're looking at something that is true. All right, so I hear the congregation gathering outside. Let me go. I saw the original unedited videos are written, and it looked like self-defense to me. Thank you, Doug. I think that'll be the outcome. I think we'll see that happen, and it's a lot more believable for jurors that a white young man was afraid, right, in the middle of a riot, and that when someone attacked him, he felt the need to defend himself. Yeah, I don't know. Can you talk about the St. Louis mom charge in the house fire? Okay, I'm gonna talk about that last before I go. I'm pissed off about that. I can't do shit about that in St. Louis. I'm so fucking annoyed. So if you haven't heard, there is a young mother, I think she's in her 30s. She has been charged after her 5 children perished in a terrible fire. So according to some of the reports, the fire happened in the wee hours of the morning. She was not home. I don't remember. I don't remember reading where she was. It's not relevant, because the way the apartment was described is set up is that she and her kids stay on one side of the apartment. It's separated by a kitchen of some sort, and then her dad and her stepmother, or his wife, live on the other side of the structure. So a fire broke out, and the dad and his wife got out, but they somehow could not manage to help the kids. The fire was too I don't know, it was too hot, too intense for them to be able to help the kids from where they were, and so the children perished. And now they're charging her. And I say this all the time: Black people, we don't have the liberty of accident. We don't have the liberty of mistake. We don't get the benefit of the doubt. You see that in those cases where the kids that die in the hot car. If it's a white family, 9 times out of 10, if the kid dies in a hot car, it's, oh my God, such a tragedy, so sad for these parents. Let's set up a GoFundMe. How we can do everything that we can to help them through this. And as soon as it's black people, it's like, oh, how insensitive, how negligent can they be? They should be charged. This is an outrage. And the same is true for this young woman. This young woman has lost all of her kids, ranging in age from, I think the oldest was 9 years old, and I don't remember the youngest, maybe 3 or 4. But all 5 of them are gone. And you want to compound that tragedy by charging her with their deaths? That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. And I really hope that there's some lawyer somewhere in Chicago that can help this young woman, because this shit is not right. That's not right. And it's not like the kids were home alone. And then, the other side of it is, I don't know if she's a single mom. I don't know if the dad or husband, whatever, was around, gone, whatever. But what I do know, as having been a single mom, right? There are some times where you have to make some choices, right? Maybe you got to go work and you got to leave these kids home. I know I've done it. And you just pray nothing goes wrong while you out. A lot of us have done it, right? You got to run in the store. Kid got a fucking fever. Nobody else ain't coming to help your ass. You got to go to the store. You got to go get this medicine, right? Maybe you can't take them with you. Whatever the case may be, oftentimes people are in a situation where they might have to leave a kid home alone or kids home alone. Maybe she wasn't gone that long. Maybe she thought that her father would be able to care for them while she was gone. He was right in a room away. Why are y'all charging her? Because she black. That's how I feel about that. Yeah, I'm angry. Rochelle or Rachel, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Alonzo Sulu, bro. Alonzo Hall, the All-Star Advisor. How are you? So yeah, I'm pissed off about that. When I saw that, I had to read a couple of articles because I couldn't quite understand where her criminal culpability lied, except for in the color of her skin. So I'm gonna I'll keep following that case as well. I'm gonna run up out of here now. Go spend a little money with my boys, hang out with my sons, maybe grab some lunch and all that good stuff. Y'all know I'm still in love, right? It's so good, so right to be with him tonight. Yes. All right. I'm trying to give my sisters hope out there. Yes, it's never too late to find love. Stay open. Keep your heart open. Don't be a bitter bitch. A lot of y'all bitter bitches. Don't be a bitter bitch. Okay. And that's about it. So yeah, I'm angry. All right, family. Hey, Claudette. I'm leaving now. I'm leaving. I'm getting off. So rewind and catch the video. I'm gonna be back on here. I'm supposed to start trial next week in Queens. We're gonna see about that. We're about to have a whole ass fight in Queens. And I'm gonna be in front of the appellate division, the second department, Monday, tomorrow, on a writ of habeas corpus. So I've got some interesting stuff coming on. I'm doing the work, family. I'm doing the work. I'm out here. You guys saw my last video. I'm trying to give freedom to a lot of kids who are and have been unjustly incarcerated or have some exorbitant and excessive bail. So I got my work cut out for me. I'm doing it. The cape stays on. All right, family. I love you. I really do. Y'all stay good. Stay masked up. Stay safe. I live in Long Island. We don't gotta wear a mask out here. I hate masks. I hate them, but I do wear them when I have to. A lot of times. I'll stay safe. All right, family. Sugar Ikie, I love you. I really do. Peace.